Ira rangatirama, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Nau mai hara mai, tauti mai, ki tēnei, hōtaka, 32, I think it is, or 33. Anyway, it's around that time. Livey from Auckland in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Just going to go into some of our quick reminders. Now, I'm going to share one with you. Oh, no, not yet. Very shortly. First thing up, cashflow coaching. Now, I brag on and on and on every day about cashflow coaching. I don't know how many taringas it's hitting, but someone's got to be listening. Now, it's highly and it's important that you seek some kind of coaching as far as cashflow coaching goes. You know, people can try and kid themselves that, hey, mohi au ki te mahi tērā mahi. I know how to do that. But in reality, you don't. Carl. You might think you do, but no. When you sit in the kura, in the class, different story, different kettle of fish. You sometimes become an alien to what's going on around you. You know, it's like you're in your own world trying to fit into someone else's world. But if you stop to think about it and listen to what was going on in the classroom, you'd know how to align yourself with what is going on in cashflow coaching. Some people go in there with a mindset that doesn't allow for changes. No, it doesn't even allow for a little tweak. But you need to go in there with an open mind. You need to be able to adapt to, you know, there could be minor changes. But you might think they're big, huge changes that have to happen. No. Take on board what's being said. Listen. Most important thing, whakarongo and titiro. Waiho tō waha mo apopo. Leave your mouth, you know, out of it for a little bit until you get the gist of what's going on in cashflow coaching. Now, I'm going to say something about today's class. I sit in class with a few people from all different walks of life. Now, these people are tauiwi, they are foreign to me, they're from different countries. There are a couple of other Kiwis in the class, and it's, you know, it's quite daunting when you're sitting there and you have these people throwing all their problems out at the kaiako, at the tutor, or the coach, as we call him. Now, I am sometimes amazed at what people bring up, and I'm thinking, are they not adult enough to solve what it is they have a problem with? Or do they need to hear it from someone else? You know, do they not admit to their own guilt trick? And, but, you know, maybe they don't know where they're going wrong. Or maybe they don't know how to align themselves with what everyone else is on track with. And, it's a real learning lesson. Just watching other people and their carry on. Now, it's easy to come and form your own opinion of people, but in cashflow coaching, you learn to leave that at the door. You learn to come into cashflow coaching with an open mind, subject to whatever needs to be done. Okay? So today, get an interesting lesson. And it started from the blog. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but when it was spoken from the blog point of view, or the blog perspective, straight away I could see all the question marks going around the class, You can read the body language of each individual in the class, and you start to, think, okay, do I understand this too, or am I like them? Are we all on the same page, or do we need to resolve this somehow? Well, amazingly, the class was asked to submit their kōrero to this topic. And everyone kind of sat there, numb. Then, slowly, one by one, each one spoke up about their interpretation of this kōrero in the blog. And I didn't think, in my wildest dreams, I didn't think you could get as many different scenarios from this one particular section in the blog. It was a very interesting kōrero in the blog. And I didn't think you could get that many different perspectives. And I listened, and everyone had their own perception and formed their own ideas about what it meant and spoke up about it in their term. So, because there were so many in the class on different wavelengths, I won't say level, different wavelengths at the time, based on their responses, we were then taken out of the TBC environment into a totally different field. Now, we were exposed to simple things and asked to comment. Now, you should have heard all the dumb questions that we thought were dumb, but when we thought about it, no, that's exactly what we can see in front of us. And, everyone was kind of thinking, so where's this taking us to? Well, would you believe the majority of the class found it so much easier to relate to that simple exercise that was carried out outside of TBC. But the meaning and the message behind it all was the answer to the scenario in the blog. It was just simply removing the blog away from our thoughts and taking us into a much simpler format where we could answer it. And I tell you, when you read the blog, it's full of kupu, full of words that you have to decipher. Well, when we went away from TBC this morning, we went to pictures only. And that taught everyone in the class the answer to the question from the blog. And I thought, amazing how some simple little picture teaches you the same answers that 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 simple blog should have taught you in the first place. So it goes to show you, and you don't have to be a smart cookie on cash flow coaching to even work out the scenarios that go on in there. You don't. You just need to take it slowly, and you just need to think about getting out of that little comfort zone and going out of the square and looking at something else in the same way and readjusting your thinking, and you have the answers. So that today was a big buzz for me to see. I mean, I've been a teacher in my life, and I've seen how rangatahi, children relate to various things that happen. And I didn't think it could happen at this level, but it did. So I was buzzed out today with the simple lesson that we had and learned so much from it now. The head is going like this because it took on, from a simple thing, it's just exploded a whole lot of ideas that can be implemented looking ahead in your journey in TBC. So that's what cash flow coaching does for you. May take a bit longer to grasp, but hey, you all get there in the end. You can't say you won't learn anything because you do. So that's my little spiel about cash flow coaching with Randy Wilson. Get into it at $10 a week. Money well invested. And, get your people to come there with you and learn with them. Now, they should have the basics anyway, but I've seen people come there green as and still sit in the class and still learn something. So that looks so promising for future growth in TBC. I mean, let's face it, right now, massive growth is what we're looking for in TBC. How do we do it? How would we do it? It takes people to do it. We need people to do it with. It's so simple to say. And if everyone is approached in the correct manner to join TBC, ahakoa, even though they have heard, a whole lot of other stuff, negative stuff about TBC, hey, tell them that happened before. It doesn't happen now. Things are moving ahead. So my advice is get into cash flow coaching as soon as you can, because otherwise you're missing out on a whole lot of good stuff that's happening right now. And I will not be the only one that will vouch for what learning is happening. Many others that are in there will say the same thing. So be yourself, just be yourself, and come to the class. Okay? So you just need to go to tbcrandy.com and sign up in there. And Tuesday morning to Friday morning at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, cash flow coaching happens. Okay? So that's cash flow coaching. Now, Let's toddle over here somewhere. Okay. Let's look at this. I don't know if any of you have been in the blog today or yesterday, but I think it's today. New poll regarding redemption end date on Kringle Cashback Office. If you don't know what that means, that's what it is. KCBO is Kringle Cashback Office dashboard. So when you log in, you're in your dashboard, scroll down the page, and you will see this. Which state will result in greater community growth to close the November redemption period? A, November the 30th, 2018, which is supposed to have been the date for the end of redemption. B, December the 20th, 2018, or C, January 31st, 2019. Now, I'm not going to tell you and influence you about what I've chosen. I want you to choose for yourself. Okay? And just submit it. So at the end of the poll, we'll then know exactly when redemption will end. So that's good news for our redemption. At least this time admin have come to all members to ask them. We've never been asked before in this manner. So you to admin for thinking of doing that, and I hope you look at it in with earnest and do it as soon as you can. So that is another piece of new information today. Now, I'm going to go over to, I'm not sharing my screen, am I, Keith?
No, you
Okay. I better go out of that. And then I better go share my screen again. Hang on. Let me go here. Be patient. Just have to do a couple of house rules here. Okay. Look at you. Okay. Now, this time we'll do it properly. We will share my page. And this time I will present to everyone and not just to myself. The joys of learning how to broadcast properly. You'll be one of them. No worry. Welcome to those who have joined me. Great to have you here. I don't know who it is, but I'm sure it's somebody looking for good information. Anyway, managing over 50 million registered member records in databases costs money. /Bitcoin. I don't know what that meant. Anyway, let's carry on down here. This is hard to read, this piece here, but I guess it's how admin records everything that all transactions, whatever, are done in a day. So as far as I can see, your name is here down this column. Your email is there because that's the key to everything. Your link is in here. And your broadcast is on. Cookie value. Current status. And verified or not. I think it's verified. Anyway, this is how they work in admin. So, from admin, ticket number 17849 came to my desk today, and I want to use this as an example of what goes on behind the scenes on the admin level. member reported they were not getting cookie rewards for their broadcast, and we investigated, which happens. What happened was their broadcasts were placed in the abuse folder of the broadcaster database in error, human error. The email of the broadcaster was flagged as abuse, and that flag placed all of their broadcasts into the abuse folder. Are you still with me? Okay. When a broadcaster attempts to use the broadcast of another person as their own and requests admin approval, and a manual review is done by a human on the admin team, one of the options is abuse. If it appears the broadcaster is attempting to cheat the system by claiming someone else's broadcast as their own, then that will flag all of the broadcasts submitted by this broadcaster and place them all into the abuse folder once a human reviews it manually, and that makes it so this broadcaster can't get cookie rewards for broadcasting. Oh. Any attempt to cheat the system comes with appropriate penalties. In this case, human error was involved on the part of admin, and we have apologised to this member and approved all of their broadcasts, which are all excellent. The broadcaster in this case has done a beautiful job, and we really appreciate their broadcast. As you can all see in the image below, all 18 of their broadcasts have been approved in the current status column. So, current status in the first pick is empty because all those broadcasts are sitting in the abuse folder. So once it's all approved, go down to the second picture and you'll see where they put approved in every single column. Okay? So that's how you get them approved if they become subject to whatever. Okay? Use your imagination to consider what happens when a member submits a support ticket in the help desk system. It is a human support team person that has to make sense out of what that member is saying. Broken English is very common because we are a global network of members, and English, in many cases, is not that member's native language. Once that support team person understands the issue, then they send the ticket to the department that can investigate the issue. Corrections and data are made as needed as part of the investigation process, and the ticket is returned to that support team person with instructions. When the support team person completes the instructions, the member is informed through the ticketing system and the ticket is closed. That's what the process looks like for each and every ticket that comes into the help desk. FAQs, frequently asked questions, generally get a copy and paste response because certain questions are so common. Now that is true with the support team, and how you produce your ticket is critical as to how you explain. I mean, some people write a whole story, but they don't need a whole story because you can say a lot in one simple directed question. So keep, your tickets simple, and so that it can be understood. And also, make sure that when you do the support ticket, you are giving the correct email address. You are going to the correct category, because there are a lot of categories in there, and you need to be certain that whatever your problem is or issue is, it fits into one of those categories. If it doesn't, then there is the other box, the other space down at the end where you can write your little story. Now, if the database developers notice a common trend in issues that come to them from the support team, then further database development may be needed to automate the resolution so the issues coming in are reduced. This is an ongoing thing in the world of database development. The first database people interface with us in Kringle Cash is the registration database, and we currently have over 50 million registrations in it right now. We stopped counting email verified memberships in June of 2018 and have since only counted paid members in our membership ongoing. The new members interface the profile database and add additional contact information in there. Next, members interface the payment databases to take care of the admin fee, and that connects to several third-party databases to calculate the amount to be paid. Since the price of Bitcoin and such change every second and can leap up and down in price over the course of a single hour. And that is so true. So you have to be quick at making your payments. So it's a good thing to practice before. We have no control over the development of third-party databases and have to do updates regularly to keep the APIs functioning optimally. We have many databases within, including the send button test, broadcaster, genealogy tree, invitations, referrals, all of the calculators in the info area, testimonial, cookie rewards, and all the sub-databases for each category of rewards, send button related databases, and cash centers. It's a lot of moving parts combined together and has to be coded in such a way as to deal with cyber attacks and user errors. And the admin fee of $4,000 doesn't even cover 10 minutes of a database developer's time. We have some new layout designs being developed by our website development team in the sandbox, and as budgets allow, we are moving those along. I haven't even mentioned what our coin development team is working on, but many are happy. We now have a QR code system that works well and love how fast the transactions confirm. I've asked the database developers to add a paid column in the referral area so each of you can easily see which ones of your registrations have paid or not paid. Only a couple of 100,000 members have paid out of the 50 million registrations in the database, and we could do a much better job in the field getting members paid if you could identify which ones haven't. Wow, big job. But anyway, folks, I'm going to leave that there because Key is following right behind me in a few seconds. And so he will carry on with this corridor, with this podcast, and with more further information below. Okay, so been great having you here. Great having you all here. Thank you, Carol. And thank you to our Bangla brothers who are here tonight. I hope you've taken. It's a major that you should get into cash flow coaching and do it. Okay, so that's it from me tonight. So hey Kone, and be safe out there because the weather here is turning to crap. So Apopo, we will see you again. Ka kite.